Thumbs up. Go.
Hey, PBnZ Sports Chaos! We're coming at you. We got the live production from the Miami crew. I don't know what they're doing down there in Miami. They're all discombobulated. But hang on. We're going to do it live here today on the PBnZ. Hey, PB, I'm going to talk a little college football for a moment. I don't know what's going to happen in college football. Apparently now, FCS, that's Division I AA, they're done. They're not going to have a playoff system this year. They said we're opting out because too many teams don't want to play. 2 divisions already said we're done. I don't know what's going to happen. We'll see. All right, moving on. I got a little fun fact for you here, too. NFL, 66 players are out. They opted out. Most of them, the fat guys, offensive linemen, don't want to play. I don't blame them. It's too hot in the summer. Why would you want to play? Sit out. We'll see what happens. By the way, the Pats lead with 8 guys opting out, so we'll see what happens to them. Hey, PGA, the first major tournament of the year. Can we believe this, PB? It's already August, and we're talking about the first major. And Hong Tong Lee, if I said that right, was leading going into the morning at 8 under. I don't know where it is now, but wow.
Yeah, I don't think, the tournament's out west, right? So I don't think they're even teeing off. And they're probably just playing on the front 9 right now.
All right.
But he's got like 5 or 6 guys at Nick 6, 2 strokes behind chasing him. And you got all today, all tomorrow. So I wouldn't be surprised if
by the way, do you see what happened to Ricky Fowler? He missed a cut. He double tapped on a little 4-incher. You and I do that all day long, and our beer buddies say it's okay. They said, no way, in the PGA, he's out. I feel bad for him, don't you?
Yeah, poor guy.
Oh, man.
All right.
Let's get right into this whole sports thing. We have a lot of sports going on. NBA, MLB, NHL, which we love here, and we'll talk about that momentarily. But coronavirus is wreaking havoc on all the stuff going on, except for NBA and except for NHL. Let's talk about NHL. Oh, by the way, Charlie Coyle won the 7th Player Award for the Bruins. Yes! I love the 7th Player Award. What do you think is going on with the NHL right now? How do you like what's going on?
It's fun. I like the way they jumped right into the playoffs, the round robin. It's all working for me. And typical NHL, you got lower seeds beating higher seeds in the playoffs. It's not uncommon to see that. And both 12s beat both 5s in the East and the West. So I find that to be pretty cool and pretty interesting.
2 12s beat 2 5s. That's unbelievable. I agree with you. I thought the Avalanche, who's a 5, would go far. I'm surprised.
Penguins, you mean the Oilers? You mean the Oilers?
Oh, I'm sorry, Oilers.
Edmonton Oilers, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm surprised. On their home ice. On their
home ice, 5 seed. I thought they were going to go pretty deep too, and the Chicago Blackhawks just upset them, beat them 3-1, and the same thing over in the East with the Canadiens beating the Penguins.
So the Penguins, maybe not surprised. They haven't won since they won the 2017 Stanley Cup. They've never won a playoff series. Mm-hmm. PB, are you worried about our black and gold, the Bruins?
Not so much.
It looks sluggish.
Yeah, I'm not obviously impressed with the way they're playing. I watched their games. They do have the Capitals tomorrow to potentially save a 3 seed going into the playoffs. But
imagine that, 1 playing for 4.
I'm not that worried. You know what? If they were the 2 seed, they'd be playing the winner of the Columbus Maple Leafs game, which is the only series that's still not decided yet. That game is tonight. I think both those teams match up pretty well against the Bruins. I wouldn't want to play them. If they can beat the Capitals tomorrow, they get the Islanders in the first round. I'm fine with the Islanders in the first round. They lose tomorrow. They got Carolina Hurricanes in the first round. Carolina does match up pretty well against them. I think they'll give the Bruins some fits potentially, but the Bruins should get past them. But Toronto and Columbus both scammy as first-round matchups, and they would get them if they were the 2 seed. So I'm not worried. They just got to play good when that series starts. This round-robin stuff doesn't really matter so much. It's like a free pass, free ticket into the playoffs. It's like 3 preseason games as far as I'm concerned.
Well, ironically, on the West side, the Blues, who are the number 1, are about to be number 4 as well, potentially, right?
Yeah, they got to play their final game against the Stars. I believe that's tomorrow, and that will determine the 3-4 over there. And the Colorado Avalanche and the Vegas Knights just played an overtime game to determine the 1 and 2 seed there. Winner getting the Blackhawks, loser getting the Arizona Coyotes.
And I remember correctly, you picked the Avalanche, I picked the Knights to go to the finals.
Yep, and they were just fighting for the 1 and 2 right there. And I would surprise if they meet up again in the Western Conference Finals, especially with Ed out. I could see those two teams vying for that Stanley Cup berth.
All right, we'll talk more NHL next week, fans, when it gets hot and heavy after the playoffs are determined. By the way, all the losers have a bright spot. They all have a 12.5% chance of getting the #1 first-round pick. It's unbelievable. You go to the playoffs, you have a 12.5% chance to win a first-round pick. Good luck. All right, NBA. Whoa. So the NBA has been up and down. The Lakers, the Bucks are the #1 seeds, but we see some good play, some bad play. Your Miami Heat, because you're now a Miami guy, they beat up on my Celtics the other night, but then the Celtics crushed Toronto. Who beat Miami in the middle of that? What do you think of the East, PB?
Yeah, I mean, there's the matchups there, right? The Bucks and the Heat play well against the Bucks. As a matter of fact, the other night when the Bucks beat the Heat was the first time all year that the Bucks beat the Heat. The Heat owned them prior to that. Celtics and Raptors. The Celtics seem like they can take the Raptors, but then you got the Raptors.
5-3. Celtics are 5-3 versus Toronto the last 2 years.
Okay, right, and then you have the Raptors against the Heat, and the Raptors seem like they own the Heat. So it's like this weird round robin, and the way it's going to work out potentially is that after the first round of the playoffs, Milwaukee would get the Heat, and the Celtics would get the Raptors, which I don't think that the Celtics can get past the Bucks.
Sixes? Oh, Bucks.
No, I don't think they can get past. Well, I mean, they'll probably get 6 in the first one, but I don't think they can get past the Bucks to get to the finals.
No, I don't think so.
They may not even be able to get past the Heat. But at least you got that matchup where it's the Heat and the Bucks, and the only team that potentially could, I think, get the Bucks out.
Unfortunately, I think the Bucks are going to run away with it in the East. I don't see anybody beating them. Giannis is the real deal at the end of the day. So I think they win it. The West. Now, this is where it gets interesting. The Lakers are the #1 seed, but they got 2 players, as we all talked about all year long, LeBron and AD. LeBron sat out last night. They got skunked. So I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, there's some decent competition in the West. The Clippers, they look pretty good. The Nuggets, they're not doing really as good as I was hoping they would do. I thought they could be.
The Nuggets are the surprise team, I think.
They are. Yeah, they are. But they're not playing. They've already lost 3 games since coming back. So I don't know how they're treating these games and how they're looking at these games. But yeah, there's some competition there that could get the Lakers out. But you know, if LeBron's in there, LeBron's hot, that they're going to be tough to beat.
The irony of the West. Right now, Phoenix is 4-0, and they had no shot coming in. And now they might get a playoff spot if they can move up to 9th. Because as we talked about, 9 is within 4 games of 8. They have a little play-in series. Yep. We'll see what happens. They got to jump 4 teams. I don't know, but they're on fire. All right, PB, we got to talk MLB. Because MLB's been going on the longest, right? Maybe 2 weeks before the NHL and the NBA. I'm concerned about MLB. As we know, your Miami Marlins, because you're down in Miami now, the St. Louis Cardinals, who had no idea we would think they'd be infected, they've missed 10 days now. The Marlins missed a week. By the way, the Marlins are now 7-1 since they resumed. Who knew? We picked them last, right?
Yeah.
What's going to happen to MLB?
So it is interesting that there's a lot of these breaks that teams are having. Miami didn't play for almost a week. Now the Cardinals are having this break. It throws a whole wrench into everything. You're getting rest. You can get back to the top of your rotation. It's to me, it's a huge asterisk of a season because of the way it's laid out. There's only at least the NBA and NHL played 75-80% of their regular season, right? And
Correct.
For all intents and purposes, they're going to look very similar. You're going to have your, 16 teams in each, in each league that are going to play. They're going to play their regular length of series and all that kind of stuff. So I don't think that you can put an asterisk necessarily on the NHL and NBA seasons, but
I would agree.
Champions. But the baseball, I just don't – it's just not normal. There's just too many things that aren't right with the way baseball's going right now. And I think part of it's the whole travel thing. These teams aren't playing in a bubble. They aren't playing in a designated city. They're flying all over the country. They're playing everywhere. I mean, granted, they're staying in their, in their division, and the same in the National League. They're playing the, for example, the Red Sox are only playing the NL East and AL East. But I don't like
So,
it.
PB,
It's going.
I got a question. Speaking of the MLB versus the NFL, are you worried about the NFL right now?
Well, because the
Same scenario.
Right, because they're going to travel around. They probably won't have fans. They may start having some fans because they still have a couple months to really figure out how that's all
Correct.
look. They're starting to already designate the first, at least the first 2 home games won't have fans or whatever it looks like. Yeah, and there's a lot of close proximity there. I mean, I do think that you're going to see a weird season in the NFL as well. But at least they're playing and starting. They're going to play a 16-game season, right? It's just that the players that might have to get quarantined, the players that might get sick, that's going to put a kind of an asterisk on that season too.
And theoretically, they only travel 8 weeks of the year, versus MLB, they're traveling all week long, right?
Right, exactly. So that's another good point.
By the way, the Red Sox, because we're Boston boys.
Yep.
Are these guys horrible? Are they horrible right now?
Well, the funny thing.
By the way, Verdugo, Alex, you said might be a fantasy stud. He had 2 home runs, and he robbed a home run last night.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Well, he was actually I had him as a fantasy sleeper, not a stud.
That's right. You did.
Yeah. But I do think that the Sox, they're going to be up and down. They have, they're 5-8 right now. They're only a game out of second place in that division. And the top 2 teams in every division go to the playoffs automatically, right? And then you have your
They ain't making it.
And right now, the National League must be doing much better than the American League, because if you look at the American League, if you're not in first place, you're under 500 pretty much. So.
I mean, speaking of that, the O's are in second place in the East. Can you believe that the O's are in second place?
Yeah,
they will get a playoff spot.
With 6
I
and 7.
can't believe this.
At 6 and 7.
The Yanks are in first. The Twins are running away with the Central. The A's, believe it or not, are beating the Pukes, which I love. They're on a 7-game winning streak. They're up in the on the AL West. NL East, the Mets. Oh, I'm sorry. Your Mets, who you picked, are in dead last. By the way, the Marlins, who missed a week, are 7-1 in first place. Can you believe it?
Best record.
I can't believe that.
Best record in all of baseball.
Central has the Cubbies, which I did not pick until the revised format came out, and they're running with the Central. And then the West, believe it or not, has the Rockies leading the Dodgers. I know it's by a half game, but still, they're in the running, right?
Yeah, it's a good time to be a fan right now. They got the Rockies, in first place in the West. You got the Avalanche fighting for the number 1 seed overall in the NHL, and the Nuggets are right there, locked in at number 3. So they got 3 decent teams that could potentially all get into close to the finals this year.
All right, PB, any last parting shots for our fans?
Well, we got to pick our PGA winner, right?
Who do you got?
Just for historical purposes, it would be nice to see 3 PGAs in a row out of Brooks Koepka. So he's 2 off the lead right now. He usually plays good on the weekend, on Saturday and Sunday. So I'll go Koepka.
That was my guy. I'm picking him too.
Are you? I thought. Yes. What about your boy Tommy Fleetwood?
You know what? He's going to get shit-faced tonight. He won't be able to play tomorrow. he's going to Fleetwood Mac concert. He's going to get drunk. He'll be hungover. I'm sorry, Tommy, but I know it's going to happen.
All right. Well, hey, next week we'll bring you some predictions for the NBA first-round playoffs. You got NHL first-round playoffs.
NHL?
Yep. So, should be good. Should be fun.
All right. PBnZ, Sports Chaos, we're signing off.